What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Shinobi Squad podcast. I'm fan service Renji.
I'm Shana Mostella.
Today, we're going to talk about racism, riots, and really fed up people. Unless you've been living under a rock or you've just been totally oblivious to social media and the news, you may have seen what's going on in the country. People are protesting the wrongful death, the wrongful murder, I should say, of George Floyd, a black man from Minneapolis, Minnesota. For those of you that don't know the story, just let me fill you in real quick of what happened. George Floyd was at the grocery store earlier this week. He tried to pay with a $20 bill that was allegedly counterfeit. The store clerk called the police officers saying there's fraud happening. George Floyd had made it to his vehicle by the time the police officers got there. The police asked him to step out the car. They took him across the street. At some point, he stumbled and he was on the ground. The next thing we see on a viral video, George Floyd is face down, handcuffed, with a police officer's knee pressing down on his neck. You can see for 9 minutes, this police officer has his knee steadily pressed on George Floyd's neck. George is screaming out, "I can't breathe, I'm in pain," and other things. People are passing by. Bystanders are telling the police officers, "Let up, you need to let up." The store clerk that made the original 911 call was also there telling the police officers to ease up. This man's in pain. The police officer did not ease up. They continued to watch this man die. George Floyd eventually passes out. The paramedics get there. They load him up, take him to the hospital. Then George Floyd is pronounced dead at the hospital.
Wow.
Everything I just told you was caught on multiple cameras, from cell phones to store surveillance cameras. All the cameras showed from start to finish, George Floyd did not resist arrest. He did not give the officers a hard time. There was no point in the video that showed the police officers needed to use that much excessive force on a man that was unarmed and a man that was willing to comply.
All that over what was supposed to be a fake $20 bill.
Correct.
Wow. Did they even prove that it was fake before doing all of that? Even if it was that what they did worth putting a knee on someone's neck?
No, it absolutely wasn't. I don't think they even proved the $20 bill was fake. They took him anyway. No, that clearly was not the proper way to handle that situation.
Oh, yeah.
$20. There's high school kids that shoplift from the mall and take more than $20 worth of stuff.
And they never get reprimanded.
They get put in an office in the back and their parents come and get them.
Yeah, exactly. I used to work retail and I've seen people try to use fake dollar bills before, and those people never got the cops called on them. They were asked to leave, or their information was taken down and they weren't allowed to come back to the store, and that was pretty much it. The cops are never called because the cops have much better things to do than to come over and, arrest somebody for a fake dollar bill.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
It was $20.
It was $20.
Barely a misdemeanor. Also, a lot of times when people get fake money, they don't know it's fake themselves.
Right.
All the store clerk had to do was use their little magic marker, swipe it, be like, "Oh, this is fake. I can't take it." And it should have been the end of it. Unfortunately, because George Floyd was a black man, that wasn't the case. People from around the world have seen this video. There's no question. Excessive force was used. Other police officers, other police chiefs in other counties and states have spoken up and have said the same thing. I believe it was the police chief in Tennessee. He said this to his officers: "If you guys don't see anything wrong with the death of George Floyd, then just turn in your badges now. You guys shouldn't be cops."
Damn. I wish a lot more cops would be like that.
Yeah. I know they have this code of ethics and they look out for the blue or they look out for badges.
Right.
But when someone's clearly in the wrong.
Yeah, at some point, you got to stop turning a blind eye. Even though the people doing the wrong are on your side, you're supposed to be working together. Be a human being.
There was another police officer that said, once you pretty much have the guy face down on the ground with handcuffs behind his back, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He could be Jackie Chan or Jet Li. He ain't going to backflip his way out of that. The average perpetrator in handcuffs face down is not going to get away.
Right.
You didn't have to put your knee on his neck.
Right.
And in further looking into the video, you notice the police officer has his hand on his thigh. That is a way to apply his body weight and more pressure onto George Floyd's neck. Like, how much more pressure do you need?
And was George trying to resist?
No, he was on the ground dying and telling the officer he was dying.
Exactly. They didn't need to do any of that.
Nope. Of course there's going to be public outcry. Of course people are going to protest. The murder of George Floyd happened, barely 2 weeks after the murder of Breonna Taylor? For those that don't know who Breonna Taylor is, let me tell her story real quick. She was just sleeping in her house, minding her business. A sergeant and 2 of his police officers had a search warrant to look for a certain criminal. They wrongfully show up at Breonna Taylor's house. They had the wrong address.
Wow.
They break in the house. Breonna Taylor's boyfriend heard it. He fires a warning shot. He has a conceal and carry permit. He has the right to carry a gun. He fired a warning shot to let people know, I have a gun, I have the right to shoot you. The police took that as an invitation to light up the house.
Wow.
I believe the report said 20 shots were fired, 8 of them hitting Breonna Taylor.
Wow.
To make things worse, Breonna Taylor is an EMT. She's been working double shifts because of the coronavirus. She's a public servant out there trying to make the world a better place, doing her part.
Did they even say anything when they got there?
No, there was no warning. No, hey, this is the police. We're coming in. They just broke in and started shooting.
And then how are the people supposed to know? How is Brianna supposed to know what was going on?
Exactly. How are they supposed to know they're not being robbed?
Exact. I would think the same exact thing. Someone's coming in my house with guns and not even saying anything. I would just think the worst. I would think someone was trying to kill me.
It was bad enough they had the wrong house. The guy they were looking for had already been arrested earlier.
So they don't write each other notes. They don't call each other on the phone. They don't communicate.
Yep.
What the hell?
That just runs deep. It's like, who issued a search warrant for someone that's already been arrested?
Were they even in the right neighborhood or even in the ballpark of being in the right neighborhood?
I don't think they were close. At first, I thought maybe they went to the wrong house. Like, these were like next door neighbors. But I think they were in the wrong neighborhood. Correct me if I'm wrong. They weren't like next door or anything. They were in the wrong neighborhood.
That's messed up.
That was only 2 or 3 weeks ago. Now, fast forward back to the present, George Floyd's murder. Another unarmed, innocent black person has been killed for no reason.
Yeah.
By the police. The same people that are supposed to be protecting us.
Yeah.
The same people that are supposed to be serving us. Yet they out here killing people at the grocery store, killing people in their homes.
These are people that are just living their day-to-day life. And there was another case, Ahmaud Arbery, who was just gunned down by these civilians that were, just thinking that they were doing the community a favor. And shot this poor man down. He was just jogging.
He was just jogging through the neighborhood and 2 white men shot him.
Yeah.
They were literally following him in a pickup truck and then shot him. Their excuse was they were doing a citizen's arrest because there was recent spring of burglaries around the neighborhood.
Okay, so then you take matters into your own hands. You're not the cops.
Yeah.
It's been a whole string of events, one after another.
All within a 5-week span.
Yeah.
Of course people are mad. Of course people are outraged.
And I don't blame them.
So let's bring it back to George Floyd. After this video went viral, the 4 arresting officers got fired. But that was it.
That's it.
That was it at first. People took to the streets and started protesting immediately. You're telling me this person died over what was supposed to be a fake $20 bill, but these people are just going to get fired?
Yeah.
Let that soak in. Imagine if you went to work. Say you work retail. Say you went to work and you killed a customer, but all your boss did, all the corporation did was fire you.
Right. And is that really going to teach you a lesson? You're just going to go to work, kill somebody, get fired, and just go, oh, well, I'll get another job somewhere else in a different city. If you have that same mentality going to another new environment, you're going to do the same thing because all you're going to get is fired or a slap on the wrist or a talking to, and then that's it. So why would you stop?
And that's a great point. The arresting officer that had his knee on George Floyd's neck, he has a history of excessive force. There's been multiple complaints over his career. I think his 19 years in the force.
Wow, 19 years is a long time.
19 years and no reprimands, no nothing. There's incidences where it's been recorded. It's on record, but he's never even punished for it.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 19 years, of course he's still going to keep doing it. Just like your example. Nothing happened to you. You can just keep going back to work.
Right.
In the beginning, the protest began peaceful. People gathered and they rallied in a peaceful manner. It didn't take long for it to quickly escalate.
Yeah.
It escalated, but not due to the fault of the protesters. It seemed like the police officers were pushing it to escalate and get worse. There's conspiracies behind it, and there's riot tactics behind it that I'll get into just a little bit. If y'all just tuned in on the news now, y'all saw the end result of it. But a lot of y'all missed that it began peacefully.
I saw a video just recently of 3 squad cars driving through a crowd of protesters, and the very last car started spraying pepper spray out the window on these people.
That's messed up. A
Yeah.
drive-by pepper spraying,
Yeah.
probably no warning, just rolled down the window and sprayed them.
Nobody
Right?
was in the way. Nobody was causing any danger or traffic jams or anything like that. They don't see the peaceful side of it, you know?
Yeah, because media doesn't want to show that. I was following an activist's story. He spoke of the events he saw from the front lines. He was telling a story about how a group of protesters had made their way up to the police station to protest. They noticed that it was all boarded up. Some of them started banging on the door to see if there was anyone in there. No one was trying to like break in or anything. They were just knocking on the door, protesting. Next thing they know, the police pop up on the roof, start shooting rubber bullets at them, and start dropping tear gas.
Wow.
That sounds like a setup.
It sounds like they were waiting for that.
Yeah, it's like they boarded up the doors to lure people in. It's like they set the bait and then they popped up on the roof. They didn't just randomly happen to be on the roof. You know that was a setup.
Exactly. And you wonder why these riots are even happening now.
Just the escalation. For those of you that have never been pepper sprayed or hit with tear gas, that shit burns.
It does.
I've been hit with pepper spray. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time in New York. A riot broke out. I was minding my business. I walked into where the riot was, and I got a face full of pepper spray. And that shit hurts.
And it lingers.
It lingers. Tear gas will mess you up.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you see videos of these protesters getting milk poured in their face.
Yeah.
You can't
They
just
already know
wash
the
it out with
deal.
water. You can't just wash it out with water. Anyways, that just paints a picture on why this protest started getting very violent very quickly. Eventually, the rioting began and the looting. In Minneapolis, a Target was looted, an AutoZone was broken into, and a Wendy's.
Wait, Wendy's?
Wendy's, yeah.
Why
Wendy's.
Wendy's?
I don't know. Like, why would you loot a Wendy's? All right, not to make light of the situation, but a Wendy's?
Unless everything's already finished cooking, what are you going to do at Wendy's? What are you going to
How
loot?
many Baconators can you steal?
I mean, shit. I mean, if it was already sitting there, then yeah. But like, how much food is just sitting around?
But to loot a Wendy's, I know they got the never frozen all fresh beef patties and them spicy chicken nuggets. But
Hold up,
damn,
Wendy's though, like maybe Taco Bell because everything's already prepared. Like you don't really
Taco
have
Bell.
to.
I mean,
cook
yeah.
that.
If you steal Taco Bell
Jesus
food,
Christ.
that's not real food, and that shit's not perishable anyway. So that shit will last you through the apocalypse.
Again, not
But-
trying to make light of the situation. It's just Wendy's.
Not a Wendy's.
They want to loot Wendy's.
Yeah, there's a lot of video going around
Mm-hmm.
about the Target looting. Once again, media only wants to portray the black people as the looters. People of color are looting. When you actually watch these videos, especially the Instagram live videos, the phone videos, you notice something real quick. There's a lot of diversity going on in that looting at Target.
Yeah. I saw a whole buffet of people out there stealing stuff from Target. And amongst that crowd was a white woman that I saw at one of the Instagram live videos. This woman was amongst everybody looting. What was funny, though, was that she had 2 lamps in her arms, trying to scoot out the door past everybody being violent and looting the whole store. And I'm like, Karen, you could do better.
Yeah.
Why are you stealing lamps? Are you hurting that much for lamps?
Maybe she was.
Continuing on with the rest of the video, saw another white gentleman with a Hoover vacuum cleaner. Just scooting the vacuum cleaner through the store, trying to dodge all the people that were trying to loot around it. I'm like, you really need a vacuum cleaner that bad? What?
Out of all the things to run into.
Wow. So yeah, it wasn't just people of color looting. It was everybody.
It was
It was a
everyone.
free for all.
I saw a picture where in the front of the picture, you see these guys trying to break into the cash register.
Uh-huh.
But then in the very back of in the very back of the picture, you kind of got to like zoom in on it. You see this white boy stealing like an $80 Lego set, and he's making his way out the door.
Lego.
A Lego set.
Hey, low-key, though, Legos be expensive for no reason, so I kind of feel that.
I know. I can't afford Legos, and I got a full-time job. Them shits be expensive.
Exactly.
So kudos to you, Lego collector.
Oh, my God.
Fight the power.
But the point is, it wasn't just people of color. Like,
Yeah, everyone was in there.
everybody.
People was brave, not having masks on either. That was another way we were able to tell that there was plenty of diversity in that looting spree.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump to AutoZone. There's a conspiracy behind that. A video surfaced of the first person that broke the glass at AutoZone. Video shows people pretty much ignoring AutoZone. No one's trying to break in. No one's doing anything.
Right.
A person wearing all black and a face mask and holding a pink umbrella appears to be a white man. He walks up to AutoZone and breaks multiple windows. People are looking at him like, what are you doing, dude?
Right.
And then he just kind of walks away. Someone follows behind him, talks to him, and he's just trying to get out of there. Comes to find out later, the alleged guy that busted the windows at AutoZone was one of the Minneapolis police officers.
Damn.
His ex-girlfriend, no, his wife, snitched on him on social media. And it's like, oh, the AutoZone guy? That's my dirtbag husband. And I guess she's filing a divorce from him.
Thank goodness she is.
Good thing she finally found an excuse, because he's probably been a piece of shit this whole time.
Yeah.
But this was just his chance to show the world that he's a piece of shit. But anyways, that shit makes sense. A cop would choose a dumb store to break into. Because really, what are you going to steal from AutoZone? That's just as bad as Wendy's. But that makes sense too.
Yeah.
Because maybe the same thing happened with that Wendy's.
Yeah.
It is a known tactic during these protests that the police and the law enforcement will be the first one to strike the blow that leads the charge to looting and rioting. They've been caught before breaking windows, encouraging people to loot and riot.
Wow.
Why would they do that? Because that gives them an excuse to use excessive force. It's way easier to clear out a protest when you can drop bombs and shoot rubber bullets on them.
Yeah.
When you can beat the hell out of people, spray them with water hoses, set the dogs on them. That's way easier to disband a protest than telling people to leave nicely. It makes sense why these stupid businesses are getting broken into, because the real protesters aren't breaking into this shit.
Right.
It's a setup. As I said, what is there to really steal at AutoZone? Yeah, it's got a bunch of car parts, but you don't know what these car parts are. You go in the back, there's part numbers. You can go steal brakes all day long, but you don't know what brake
Which
goes.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't say Honda Accord brakes, Ford Taurus brakes. It just says part number 6845. You have to be on the computer just typing away, okay, this is my car.
And they do that so people don't steal on a regular basis.
Ain't nobody got time for
Yeah.
that. Ain't nobody got time to look up their part number and steal one set of
I
brakes.
know. Looking up a codex and everything, trying to decipher which one
Exactly.
is the one they need.
Like the stuff that they have on the floor that's not categorized. I guess you could steal motor oil. I mean, if
Air fresheners.
yeah, you want some neon lights to go on the bottom of your Honda Civic,
Right.
Some spinning hubcaps, but that's probably the best you're gonna get away with. Maybe
That's
some
crazy.
tools, but tools are heavy. You ain't trying to like steal 100 pounds of tools.
Well, some people be ready for this. The same people who aren't out there actually protesting are the main ones looting these places in the first place. All it takes is for a situation to happen, and then it's like, oh, free for all.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So that makes sense. It's like they try to set it up where they're gonna break an AutoZone and Wendy's. Again, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm laughing about it. Not trying to make light of the situation, but it just blows my mind, the thought process of Wendy's and AutoZone. It's just like, why?
I don't know.
Why those stores? Like, anyways. Let's move on from that.
I'm just sick and tired of people saying they're sick of people rioting and they don't want to see like us looting stores and stuff like that. But we're trying to protest peacefully, and we do that all the time. We change ourselves as people of color all the time, and trying to conform to society and trying to be normal and blending in. But a lot of that gets swept under the rug, and nobody cares anymore. It's like, then what do you do to get someone's attention? I don't condone violence. I don't condone looting and rioting and stuff like that. But what can we do in order to get these people's attention? We've done everything peacefully, and we've tried to conform. We've tried to do everything the white man wants us to do. So what do you suggest that we can do to get someone's attention?
When it comes to protesting, especially the senseless murder of black people, people have been doing peaceful protests for years. Colin Kaepernick took a knee during football. That wasn't peaceful enough for y'all? That became a problem. I saw like the most trillest meme. They were like, oh, so y'all have a problem with Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, but y'all don't have a problem with this police officer taking a knee.
Yeah.
On a man's neck and killing him.
Yeah.
It's so convenient how people quickly forget about all the peaceful things that have been tried. People only want to highlight the negative sides of protests. Y'all quickly forget about all the peaceful protests that were tried. Once that doesn't work, people are going to move on to the next radical step. As in the case of George Floyd in Minneapolis, Minnesota, that protest was peaceful, and then it got escalated by the police. As it escalated, protesters burnt down the police station.
Yeah.
It took all that for them to finally arrest one of the officers, the lead officer that had his knee on George Floyd's neck. Y'all wondering why peaceful protest doesn't always work. People were peacefully protesting for days, and none of these officers were arrested. Finally, the police station gets burnt down, a Target gets looted, then you want to finally arrest someone? Mind you, the 3 other officers that were there, nothing's happened to them yet.
Right. And again, white people, people who are not people of color, you have no right to tell us how to feel. You have no right to tell us how to protest. We change ourselves for you all the time. We change our hair. We change the way we dress. We change our culture, our language even. We change all of that for you. But then, like, what do we do to get your attention when we actually need something?
Yeah. You don't have the right to tell someone how to start their own revolution.
Exactly.
That's why things like Black Lives Matter began. All the media coverage of the senseless killing of black people wasn't enough. The oppression that black people have had to suffer in America for generations, we were even taught that in school, the history books. We've seen slavery, we've seen civil rights movements, yet that's still not enough for people to understand. Now in this modern era, it's all about movements and hashtags. Something has to trend for you to even bat an eye at it.
Exactly.
Clearly, Black Lives Matter has been around for a minute now, yet their message hasn't gotten across to certain demographics of this country, or they just don't care because it doesn't affect them.
Right.
The media and white people are so quick to say only black people riot, only minorities do this. Oh, y'all quickly forget about the things y'all do. At least in this case, people are rioting for a cause.
Right.
Lives are being taken for no absolute reason. People are dying in these streets. A race of people is being killed off, and most of American society doesn't even care. And y'all want to talk about black people have no reason to riot. For those that feel that way, do yourself a favor. Google white people rioting for no reason. I believe a YouTube video may pop up, because that's what I saw. It's a compilation of white people rioting for no reason.
Wait, that's a real thing?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I should do myself a favor and look this up.
A great example is sports events. Whether your team wins or loses, white people love to riot and destroy their own city for whatever reason. When your team wins a championship, y'all want to get drunk, light cars on fire, bend street signs, flip cars over, break windows. Y'all may not loot during the process, but y'all be on the streets drunk as hell, destroying a bunch of public property. Oh, but we're so happy our team won, so we're going to destroy stuff in celebration. Then y'all riot when y'all team loses. That would make a little bit more sense. You're kind of upset, but are you that upset? that you're going to burn your town down.
Wow.
It's not like you were in the game playing. It's not like you were training for months.
You didn't even know the athletes.
Exactly.
How is this personal?
all this talk about we lost.
Oh, were you on the field?
I didn't know you were a part of this team.
I didn't know you were an athlete.
I've never seen your trading card. Since when have you been on the team?
Exactly.
We lost. You mean they lost? That team that just happens to reside in your city because the owner moved them there?
Wow.
Half them players aren't even from your town. So what are you talking about? We lost.
Exactly.
Oh, but it's such a big loss to our city, so we're mad. No, the only loss to your city was the loss that you just created.
What do you lose?
Exactly.
Oh my
and
God.
These same people want to turn around and be like, black people shouldn't be rioting.
Oh my, what did you just do on Sunday?
Would y'all feel better if protesters wore sports jerseys first and then rioted? Would it make you feel more comfortable? Is it more familiar?
Exactly.
So yeah, check your privilege.
Exactly.
Check your privilege. Speaking of privilege, let's talk about that. On one hand, there's all these protesters standing up for Black Lives Matters, standing up for justice for these people that are getting murdered for no reason. They're peacefully gathering. Police officer turns around, starts attacking them with these rubber bullets and tear gas. Then you have the protest that happened in Michigan a couple weeks ago. These people were protesting COVID-19.
Oh, Jesus.
They were protesting being on lockdown, being on quarantine during this pandemic, violated their rights. They showed up in the capital of Michigan. What did they have on, Shana?
They brought their guns, they brought their ammunition, and their best Walmart armor that they could find. I'm talking their paintball gear armor. I'm talking their motorsports jackets and their whatever, their camouflage or deer camouflage. Like, what are you hiding from in concrete?
Yeah, exactly.
What are you camouflaging yourself from?
Your deer hunting camo does not blend in with the city landscape.
They had their paintball guns. They had their paintballs ready. What are you doing?
Yeah. Karen, Kyle, and Billy Joe Bob was out in the capital of Michigan protesting for the state to open back up. The thing is, though, some of them did have real guns. Shotguns, machine guns. Yet, not one of them got a ticket. Not one of them even got a stern talking to.
Wow.
They were up in the police officer's face, cussing them out. They were spitting on people. They were just all up in everyone's face, being disrespectful. There was a protest group that was blocking traffic in front of the hospital. There was an ambulance that had a patient damn near dying inside. The paramedic inside the ambulance had to text his daughter to get on social media and tell these protesters, move, we're trying to get to the hospital. It was so gridlocked that this ambulance couldn't get to the hospital. These douche nozzles were blocking up traffic. And the stupid thing about that, some of these people were protesting COVID-19 is fake. It's not even real. But yet they were protesting from the safety of their car. Because why? They were trying to social distance because they didn't want to get sick.
Oh.
Y'all want to protest and say COVID-19 is not real, but y'all want to stay in the safety of your car.
Wow.
And some of them even had masks on.
What's the point?
If this shit ain't real, why are you covering your face then?
And that's the shit that is so stupid to me. Why protest on something that it's trying to save your life? The stay-home order is just trying to save your life. You think it's not real? Then why do people keep dying from this virus that's going around?
Yep. And in a state like Michigan, where you can get an apartment for $600, you can live in your own one-bedroom apartment for $600 in Michigan. The stimulus package, enhanced unemployment, gives you an extra $600 a week. So just on that extra $600, these people are banking $2,400 a month.
Right.
Plus whatever they would get on their regular unemployment. Y'all just can't sit your dumb asses home for a couple months and just take that money and chill out.
I could see, like, maybe if the government wasn't trying to pay us and not trying to handle the situation, but why can't you just stay home and collect this money and just be safe?
But yet, they shown up with guns and nothing happened to them.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is called white privilege.
White privilege. Some people may not notice it because y'all be living it every day.
Yeah.
White privilege isn't a stimulus check that comes in the mail. No, that's not what we're saying. Like you get money just for being white.
No.
It's you don't have to deal with the same things black people have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to deal with the harassment some minority groups get just because you're white. It's just an automatic pass. Almost all these COVID-19 protests have been bored, angry Karens and Kyles of the world protesting they can't get a haircut, yet they're allowed to gather, even though some states have passed laws where they're giving out fines.
Mm-hmm.
And yet nothing's happening to these protesters. As soon as a group wants to protest something like George Floyd's murder, all hell breaks loose.
Mm-hmm.
All hell is unleashed on the protesters. But yet a bunch of rednecks with guns can just carry on.
And I just have a question. Where is that same passion, that same judgment on these COVID-19 protesters who brought guns and paintballs and all these kinds of things to their protests because they think COVID-19 is oppression? A pandemic is not oppression. That's something that we can't help. That's something that's not up to us. And they're out there doing whatever they want to do and protesting and getting in people's faces and being violent. Where is that same passion and that same judgment cast down on those kind of protesters when we're trying to protest something that is actually important, something that we're trying to say to make a difference in the world? They're two different kind of protests. And we started off very peaceful, no guns, no nothing, no violence, no rioting, no nothing. Like, we started off so peacefully.
Mm-hmm.
But these people, for the COVID-19 protests and all that stuff, they came out the gate just rolling with all this like tactical gear and guns and everything and just being totally disrespectful. So why can't you say that same thing to those people?
Trump's tweets about these two incidences just say it all. That's why the country is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
The tweet regarding the Michigan armed protesters says something like, oh, these are good people and they're just protesting, da-da-da-da-da. Then he tweeted in regards to the Minneapolis situation, these thugs are out there destroying the city, disrespecting George Floyd's name. People with guns disrespecting government officials and police officers are good people, while people who were peacefully protesting with no weapons in the first place were called thugs.
Yeah. Yeah, stupid is as stupid does, and all those people needed was a leader.
Yep. Monkey see, monkey do, and the man in the Oval Office, might as well call him Donkey Kong. He ain't doing nothing but throwing barrels of shit down the country. Here you go. Here's a barrel of shit for you. Here's a barrel of shit for you. It's up to us to be Super Mario and climb up that building and beat his ass.
Yep. And if you're not a person of color, you don't understand what people of color have to go through every single day just to live our normal everyday life. We live our lives in fear every single day, and that's something you just will not understand.
That is so true. I fear for my friends. I hear them talk all the time. Today could be my last day. A routine traffic stop could be the day I get shot.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I've been well informed and know about the mistreatment of black people, I got to see it firsthand when I was riding in a car with my friend. We're driving in my car. I get pulled over. He immediately takes out his ID and puts his hands on the dashboard. I'm looking at him like, why are you doing that? I'm the driver. They're only going to check me. He's like, no. One thing that all black people know, everyone puts their hand on the dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
My parents told me, my brothers told me, if you want to stay alive, get your ID out and put your hand on the dashboard. I'm like, they're not going to check you. I've been pulled over with friends before.
Right.
Sure enough, officer gets to my car, grabs both our IDs.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was in shock. I was like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that. Police officer comes back, harasses us one last time. And then fortunately that time, he let us go.
Mm-hmm.
That was lesson number one for me. He explained to me, look, dude, me being a black male, if I move in the slightest way, the police officer can just shoot me.
Right.
There's people in my life that's happened to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going out like that. And that was a big eye-opener. Learning experience number two, he was driving and we got pulled over. The police officer insisted that he stepped out the car.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, nope, not stepping out the car. You can't make me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why are you being such a dick? He's going to give us a ticket. Again, I didn't learn this till afterwards. He was like, bro, if I step out the car, I'm just asking to get set up. I'm just asking to get my ass beat. I'm just asking to get shot. I thought you would have learned from the putting my hands on the dashboard incident. He's like, it's even worse when you're a black man driving and getting pulled over. He's like, nah, I'm not getting out of the car because they can do anything. They can say I try to attack them. I'm not getting shot over this. I'd rather go home with a ticket and have my life than be dead on the side of the road and just be another poor black man that just got killed for no reason.
Right.
It's things like that that non-black people will never fully understand. That's not a part of everyone else's life. But for a black person, that is every day. It's been every day. It's been their parents every day.
Yeah, I fear for both of my two male cousins who are on their own. They're living their lives. They're, they don't have anyone around them all the time that are protecting them. I just fear for their lives every single day.
They're good kids.
They're good kids.
The older cousin's a college graduate.
Yep.
Went to school on a scholarship. No criminal record whatsoever.
Nah.
Yet his life can get taken at any time. He wouldn't be the first good kid that got his life taken if it was to happen.
What bothers me the most is that they were both raised to be very smart, articulate young men. They were never put through any kind of circumstances that would have gotten them in trouble. They don't have records. They don't have dirt on their name. They were raised so well. Just because that they're black, that could all go away.
Yep.
If they look the wrong way at an officer, if they say the wrong things, whatever the case may be, no matter how clean their record is, I still fear for them.
Unfortunately, police brutality, racism doesn't discriminate when it comes to black people. It doesn't matter if you're a total piece of shit, a criminal, or a straight A student, or an EMT doing good during this pandemic. Police brutality and all this racism doesn't discriminate. It's just going to take out whoever it wants to take out.
And for non-people of color, to you, it looks like maybe these people are criminals. Maybe these people are doing something wrong. No, these people are just living their lives. They do nothing wrong. They're not criminals. They're not people that you would expect to be picked up by the cops or anything like that. These are just regular people doing the same exact things that you're doing. These same people are being killed every single day. They're just like you. They're people in the society that are just going to work, coming home to their families, but they're being killed every single day just for being black.
As with all podcasts, I always try to bring it back to the cosplay community somehow. Throughout this week's worth of protests, for the most part, I've been pretty proud of the cosplay community stepping up. People showing their support towards the protests, towards Black Lives Matter, just standing up for justice for black people all around. Then I saw a couple things that were questionable, or I didn't see the point, I guess, to say the least. One of them being this girl, Callie, from Chicago, decided to try to call out Yaya Han in a post. She had posted a screen capture of one of Yaya's tweets. I'll just read you the exact tweet. Anytime I have ever donated to any charity and advocated it, it is followed up with criticism, whether it's regarding the cause, the reputation, or the charity, or the suggestions of other charities to donate to instead. This is why some people are hesitant to donate at all. Callie captioned her post, "This is y'all Asian cosplay BLM Black Lives Matter queen though." From what I took from that post, it looked like she was trying to call out Yaya.
Yep.
As you read the corresponding comments, that's exactly what she was trying to do. The common themes within the comments were multiple things, actually. It took me a minute to try to see what point that they were trying to get at. Of course, you had your, I never liked her anyway, but in regarding that post, they were trying to pretty much say Yaya was throwing a tantrum. They were trying to say her tweet meant, well, if you guys don't be nice to me, I'm not going to donate.
Exactly. And of course, if you already don't like somebody and they're actually just trying to do something positive, if you already don't like that person, then it's going to look like that to that person.
Regardless, yep.
Regardless of what they're actually trying to do. And that's the point that I was trying to make when I responded to that post, because I'm so sick and tired of people hating the wrong things or the wrong people and putting their passions towards something that's totally irrelevant, especially when Yaya Han herself has helped the community, the black community, a lot. She has donated, she has spoken her piece, she has done everything that she can do. But of course, conveniently, nobody talks about that.
Also conveniently, what did they leave out of that post?
Callie from Chicago conveniently left out the fact that Yaya did, in fact, donate to the NAACP.
$1,000. $1,000. And that was only one of the charities she donated to in support of what's going on.
Yeah.
They conveniently left that out. But that sparked up phase 2 of this post. The yeah, but. Okay, so she donated $1,000, but she's not doing it for the right reasons.
And that's the shit I hate. It's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yep. So let's break that down. She donated $1,000, but she's doing it for the wrong reasons. Help is help, first of all.
Oh, but she's not really on our side.
That was the other thing that was brought up. She's not really a full-time ally. She doesn't really care. She's not really helping.
Yawn.
Someone went as far as saying, if she's not going to be a full-time ally, she shouldn't be helping at all. Let's break down that statement. That's what bothered me. If someone can't help all the time, can't help 100% of the time, they shouldn't help at all. So you're saying her $1,000 to the NAACP shouldn't have been donated? I'm sure the NAACP appreciates any money they can get.
Exactly.
Whether someone donates only once a year, it all adds up at some point.
Whether it's someone you like or someone you don't like, whether it's Yaya Han or someone you would rather see donate, money is money. Help is help. If you want non-people of color to contribute, whether it be Yaya Han or whatever, wouldn't you want that help? Isn't this the whole point?
Exactly. That's the whole point of spreading the message.
Exactly.
So if some people help and that's the only time they help, they still helped. Yaya Han's one of the first cosplay personalities getting attacked. Jessica Negri had donated money. Oh, she doesn't care about it either, even though she donated to multiple charities as well. Back to Yaya, right? Shana had stepped in, spoke her piece. All the yeah buts happened. And in the comments, people just kept dancing around the fact, but I don't like her because of this. What does that have to do with the current situation at hand?
Hate her for whatever reason you want to hate her for, but when she's actually trying to do something good, wouldn't you want to spread that? Wouldn't you want to show light on something positive?
So she donates this $1,000. This is coming right off the footsteps of her already donating over 300 masks to her local hospital that she hand sewn herself.
Oh, yeah.
People can only do so much at a certain time. Don't you think people like her are also mentally drained as well? To sit and sew 300 masks, like, that's a lot of work.
Oh, but wait, her mask wasn't good enough. People were still telling her, oh, this isn't good enough. You need to be doing more. You need to be doing this. Yaya is definitely more selfless than I am. Yaya is definitely more selfless than a lot of you are.
Yep. I don't see a lot of these people putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, and that's my question to you, Callie. What are you doing? What are you donating? What masks have you made?
I saw one comment saying, I don't have time to explain all this, but you did have time to post like 5 other things that day. You didn't have time to explain your gripe or your reason for trying to throw Yaya under the bus.
Oh, you have time to talk shit.
But you have time to post about everything else. So you definitely have time.
Oh, yeah.
Not trying to be petty. Not trying to go there. You posted this in a public forum.
It's not you being petty. She put it out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. You posted this in a public forum, waiting for discussion. I'm responding back on my platform. And the last thing in this whole Yaya shade, right? Once some of these people in the comments pulled their head out their ass and acknowledged that she donated money, since they didn't know, their last rebuttal was like, well, if you donate, you shouldn't be boasting about it. It should be coming out the good of your heart.
So what would be good enough for you?
You should donate in silence. Every time I donate, I don't tell anybody.
And what was Yaya's initial post about? Even though we want to donate, we want to say this and that, but we're not doing it the right way. And then that makes some of us not even want to donate at all. And that's all she was saying, plain and simple.
And she never said, I'm not going to donate.
She never said that. Pretty much, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
These people in the comments were like, well, if you donate and it's really out the good of your heart, you don't have to tell anybody. You should just keep it quiet. If I donate, I wouldn't say anything. Oh, really? To me, that's also a nice, convenient way of saying, well, since I never post about what I donate, people don't know if I actually donate or if I do. So how convenient that you may not even be donating, but no one's going to ever know because that's not what you do. Okay, so that's one note I wanted to make. But then, as for Yaya, she even explained why she posted how much she donated. And one of the sites she donated to, it's kind of their social media tag right now or their call out to get other people to donate.
Yep.
She wanted to tell people she was donating to encourage other people to do it. Like, her followers can be like, oh, hey, oh, shit, Yaya's donating. Let me see what I can do.
Right.
That was one point. Another, I think the Minnesota Freedom Fighters Fund, when you donate, they post your social media. They're like, Yaya just donated this much money. Can you match it? Shana just donated this much money. Can you match it? They post that on their own.
They do.
They want you to post it. And the last point, there's so many charities that pop up during these kind of tragedies. Not all of them are real.
Exactly.
It's hard for a lot of people to decipher who to donate to, so people don't donate at all. But when you see someone that has a following, when you see someone that you follow,
Exactly.
when you see who they donated to, you're like, okay, I feel comfortable giving my money to them because if they gave up so much money, my little $50, my little $10
Right.
is going to go to the right place. If she was willing to put up $1,000, then if all I got is $20, then at least my $20.
At least it's going to the right source.
Yeah. It's not going to some scammer
Nope.
across the world who just made up a PayPal real quick.
Exactly.
But no, people want to fail to mention all those facts. What was the purpose of that post? You want to throw shade at someone who is helping, who is currently helping in real time. How does that contribute to the end goal? How does throwing Yaya under the bus bring justice to George Floyd?
How does you talking shit about this person that you don't like contributing to the cause? You're not adding to anything positive. You're just being negative.
Instead of using that energy to knock down someone who's clearly helping,
Right.
use that same energy to provide something positive that's going to help.
Right.
Okay, maybe you're absolutely right. Maybe Yaya's a piece of shit that she doesn't really care. Why does that even matter? Why did you waste your reach, your post, your attention span of your followers to be like, hey, hate Yaya real quick?
Exactly.
You could have used that same energy to be like, hey, these are valuable links. Donate to these. These are good organizations that I trust. But no, that's just a waste of energy.
It is. And that's exactly my point that I was trying to make when I commented on that post. It's like, you're just trying to tear down something positive. Like, you can have your reserves. You can have your opinions about that person. You don't have to like Yaya Han if you don't want to. You don't have to like anybody if you don't want to. But this is not the time, nor is it the place for that. Nothing that was said, nothing that's going on in the world right now calls for that kind of hatred right now. And that's exactly why I delete people like that off of my Facebook, because I don't need to see that. I don't want that on my feed. I don't want to see that every day.
Yeah.
I don't, and I'll do it again. I just want to just be done with it, because at some point when I'm arguing with somebody on their post and all they can say is, yeah, but I still don't like that person, and you can't tell me that I can't.
Yes
okay,
and
fine,
buts.
then bye.
Yes and buts.
Bye.
Okay, so then for the people that don't know who Yaya is or don't care, let me give an example that a lot of the regular world knows. Drake, the hip-hop artist Drake. He shot a music video called God's Plan. Right when the video starts, it says at the beginning, we were given $1 million budget for this video. We gave it all away to people in need. Drake and crew gave away $1 million, shot the video. He was buying people cars, paying for scholarships. He gave away $1 million to communities that needed it in multiple ways. You see it within the video. All of a sudden, there came this backlash. He's giving away money for the wrong reason. He's using poor people and his charity work as a clout moment or as he's bragging about how he's helping.
Here we go.
If Drake really cared, he would just give away the money and not say anything. Okay, first off, if I was someone in need, I don't care how many times they brag about it. Drake can buy me a new car because he bought multiple people cars in that video. Give me a car and he can post about it on social media as many times as he wants. I don't care. Yet he got so much backlash. You can't use poverty as a prop in your video. Whether he had good intentions behind it, everyone wants to ignore the fact that he still gave away $1 million to people who needed it. It doesn't matter what he did it for. Helping is helping, but people want to just look past that fact.
And I just want to give a perfect, good, positive example. I don't like Drake as an artist. I don't like his music all the time. But that whole God's plan thing, and I saw the video, I thought it was for a good cause. I thought it was an excellent idea. Yeah, he publicized it, but again, if he was giving me money, shit, I would take it.
Yeah, I'm sure the people he helped aren't complaining.
Yeah.
I'm sure when Drake handed that family a couple racks, for those that don't understand hip-hop lingo, a couple racks is a couple $1,000s. I'm sure that family didn't go, wait, Drake, do you really care about this? Wait, Drake, do you really care about us, or is this just temporary money?
Exactly. Are you asking questions?
They saw money. They're like, thank you, Drake. Thank you so much. We needed this.
Exactly. I don't like him as an artist, but like what he did was to a good cause, and I can see that plain and simple.
It still helps somebody.
Plain and simple.
Bottom line, it still helps somebody.
Yeah.
But speaking of helping somebody temporarily, let's go back to those comments. If they don't care about us full time and they're not a full-time ally, they shouldn't be helping at all. Okay. Guess who else doesn't really care about the plight of poor people, minorities? Your favorite Oompa Loompa, Donald Trump. The government in general. But guess what? A lot of us got a check, a stimulus check for $1,200 that was personally signed by Donald Trump.
And what did you say? Did you say, oh, he's not doing it for the good of his heart? That he's not doing it for the right reason? Did you just leave the check on your front door?
Did you refuse it?
Did you refuse it?
Did you say, no, you don't care about me full time. I don't want your money.
Did you give it back? Did you give it back? No, you didn't.
You know damn well nobody gave back that stimulus
Ain't nobody
check.
gave that money back.
Some
no
of y'all
how
was
you
out.
Feel.
Some of y'all was out there buying inflatable dinosaurs, dildos, umbrellas, motorcycles, just dumb shit that you didn't need because you live in a state where it rents $500 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. Y'all just spent that money on whatever you wanted.
Did y'all care where it came from?
No.
Did you really care where it came from? No.
Did the government really care about your plight full time? No.
Perfect example.
Y'all saying temporary help isn't needed. Okay. Well, for those of y'all on unemployment getting that extra $600, give back the $600.
Give it on back. Give it to me. Shit, I could use it. I'm not complaining.
Exactly.
I'm not complaining at all. So if y'all want to, if that's how you really feel, I could use your stimulus check right about now.
Yeah, so don't talk about how temporary help isn't worth it if it's not genuine. Get the hell out of here with that shit. Yaya and a few others were given criticism for posting about how much they donated and who they donated to. Yaya Han's being criticized for talking about how much she donated. Let's take it to the other end of the spectrum. Another cosplayer that's pretty popular is being outed for not saying that much, not saying who she donated to. Talking about Stella Chu. Recently on Twitter, people came at her. She posted on her Twitter, I don't know if I should stream today. Is everyone doing okay? That opened the floodgates for people to come at her for some reason. One of the first comments was like, I'm a fellow Asian Stella, and this is embarrassing. Do better.
What the hell?
By her saying, is everyone okay? She's acknowledging there's issues going on right now, and she doesn't feel right streaming. The comments just started tearing her a new asshole. Actually, I haven't seen you post anything about what's going on. You should speak up and use your platform to promote justice. She's like, I don't really have that kind of a voice. I don't know how to come out and say it. And then the comments just kept coming. Well, it doesn't matter. You just need to say something. You need to do better. You need to say something, or at least donate. Just multiple people telling her what she needs to do and how she needs to do it. Pretty much attacking her and bullying her to do so.
Yeah.
I think she said something like, well, we'll try to raise money on my stream. Hold that thought about the stream. This Twitter confrontation carries on to Facebook. A close friend of mine made it her personal goal to try to out Stella even more. She posts on her stories and on her Facebook, someone come get Stella Chu. That personally made me feel a type of way. You're sitting here telling someone they have to say something.
Right.
They have to do this. They have to do that. When we don't know what they have done or haven't done. We don't know if they've donated in silence, yet she's being attacked for it. We go back to the Yaya Han incident. People told her to shut the hell up.
Right.
Then we go to Stella, and Stella's being asked for receipts. Who, where, when? We want to see them. It went as far as someone had to go through Stella's live stream video to see if she ever mentioned anything. Y'all had that much time to do investigative work on a multiple hour live stream. Like, someone had to go through the video that Twitch or whatever she used posts up afterwards.
Exactly.
And screen cap whenever they talked about it. That's a lot of wasted energy.
That statement when they were bashing Stella Chu, that didn't sit well with me for this reason. Because you're putting your angers and your passion on the wrong stuff. I don't agree with your witch hunt.
I don't get why people expect these super popular cosplayers to always stand up and put up all their money and all their time towards a cause. All this witch hunt energy was spent on Stella, but I don't see anyone trying to reach out to like an A-list celebrity telling them to put up their millions, their money that can make a real big difference. Unfortunately, some con people in the cosplay world only think within the community. Okay, I get that. I don't see y'all outing your favorite voice actor to do the same. I don't see y'all telling your favorite con to do the same. They have huge platforms. Thousands of people show up to those conventions. I don't see the same pressure on them, but yet y'all want to start outing these certain cosplayers. Why? Are you going to continue just to keep calling out everyone else that you don't think has contributed to the cause? Instead of spreading a positive message on how people can help, you want to start bullying people and force them to help and just keep the negativity going. Who's next up on the chopping block? Also, I want to ask, which one do y'all want? Do you want the Yayas of the world to donate and be quiet? Or do you want the Stellas to donate and tell everybody where they donated? Like, you can't have both. Yes, I understand these are two separate groups within the cosplay world, but it's like, this is the conflict that people of influence are having. As Shana said earlier, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So if you do help and tell people, oh, that's bullshit, you shouldn't be doing that. But then you don't say anything. Oh, that's bullshit. You need to say something. You need to tell people how you're helping. And it's frustrating. We have addressed a lot of things, so let's wrap up this podcast.
Bottom line is, there's no justice for Black America. There's no reason to sugarcoat it. There's no reason to just throw it under the rug. Whatever you say, there's just no justice for Black America, and that's just it. And you can't tell us how to protest. You can't tell us how to retaliate and try to get justice for ourselves.
Facts.
Because there just isn't. There's no justice for us. And until that day comes, you can't expect us to just sit around and wait for, I don't know, just wait for a miracle, I guess.
It's sad that so many people still don't understand what the problem is. They really don't. They don't understand why people are yelling Black Lives Matter. I forgot to say this earlier, but I'm saying it now. If you were more upset that a Target got looted than a Black man losing his life for no reason, that's the problem right there. That store is insured. Everything that was destroyed, stolen, will get replaced. They have insurance. They will get back that vacuum that white boy stole, those 2 lamps, that $80 Lego set. But George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and all the other countless Black people that have died at the hands of racism will never come back. Their families will never have them back. The pain that they felt will never be settled with an insurance payment that's going to bring all that back. These stores will rebuild, but these people are gone forever. The pain these families feel, the community that these people lived in, will always know and feel that pain forever. Their children have to grow up in fear, wondering if they're going to be next, if they're going to be the next hashtag, justice for so-and-so. That's things a lot of people on the outside never think about. That's why people are out there asking their peers, their social media friends, to at least hit the share button. If you don't have your own words or can't express how you feel on your own, just share someone else's status. Share what someone else said. You may not have a big following, but at the very least, it lets them see that you support their cause. It's a little gesture, but it goes a long way. That's one of the ways you can help. I understand not everyone can go protest. Protests may not be happening in your city. We're still under this pandemic lockdown. You just can't make it. I understand not all of us have money to donate. A lot of us are living off of unemployment. You may not be able to put up $1,000, but even $1 or $2 helps. a dollar or two, multiply that by thousands of other people donating a dollar or two, and that money adds up quickly. So don't think your little contribution is going unnoticed. It helps somebody somewhere. Isn't there already enough negativity out there? Isn't that why people are protesting? Instead of using your energy to add more negativity, use that same energy to tell people how they can help. Back to the donations. I don't want to tell you who to donate to. There's a lot of organizations. I'm going to probably put up some money to the NAACP. They're like a well-trusted OG organization that's been fighting for the rights of Black people since forever. And I'm also going to donate to one of these organizations that's bailing out protesters. I know the Minnesota Freedom Fighters was helping the people directly in Minnesota. They recently put out a tweet saying they've received an overwhelming amount of support. Please support these other organizations as well. They want us to spread the money out to these other groups. So I probably have to revisit that tweet. So that's up to you. You figure out how you want your money to be spent. Some people want to help the organizations that's leading the charge. That's perfectly fine. Help is help. Some people want to help those actually on the front line, like the protesters. A lot of them are getting locked up. So there's been organizations that are collecting money to bail out the protesters. Much love and respect to those out there getting pepper sprayed, shot with bullets and all that stuff. So they need our help too to get bailed out. So that's up to y'all. Just make sure you do a thorough check and make sure it's an actual real organization and not just some guy scamming from the other side of the world. I would recommend looking into who your peers donate to or what organizations they recommend. That's exactly what I'm doing. I saw Yaya donate to the NAACP. If she was willing to put up $1,000 to them, then I trust that she's done her work as well. So that's where my money's going.
And I just want to say, people aren't out there protesting because they want to be out here in this pandemic, exposing themselves to this COVID-19. We're doing it because something has to be done.
Facts. People ain't out here going, ooh, 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 shoot me with rubber bullets next.
They're not saying, oh, look, there's a target over there I can loot really quick. There's a pandemic going on right now, and I would rather see your energy being used towards helping a cause than just running your mouth on the internet.
You think people want to put up their money and donate to these causes when we are already struggling economically? You think people trying to spend the few hundreds they have from unemployment to support protesters? No. But they're doing it because it has to be done. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying people don't want to help. I'm sure they would rather be spending their money on other things. A lot of us in this community rather just be making cosplays or binge watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. But no, we can't do any of that. We can't enjoy just sitting at home during a pandemic. We can't enjoy being on social media. We can't enjoy anything because people out there still want to be racist in 2020. Police out there still thinking they got to kill everybody like it's an old Western movie. It's 2020 and it still feels like we live in the Wild West. I'm drained. It's been a long week of reading about this, seeing it. It's taken us so much time to collect our thoughts just to make this podcast. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Shinobi Squad podcast. I'm fan service Renji.
I'm Shana Mostella.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.